hadn't it? All right, Richie, please count your eggs. Let's see how many you got.
Miles, how old are you, Miles?
How old are you?
10.
10? Just 10?
Yes. 1 decade.
That's right.
I never thought that you would be the one to hold my heart, but you came around and you knocked me off the ground from the start. You put your arms around me, and I believe that it's easier for you to let me go. You put your arms around me and I'm home. How many times will you let me change my mind and turn around? I can't decide if I'll let you save my life or if I'll drown. I hope that you see right through my walls. I hope that you catch me, 'cause I'm already falling. I'll never let our love get so close. You put your arms around me and I'm home.
Jessica and I first met in Moab. Well, I should say, we didn't actually meet in Moab for the first time. We actually met at a pizza joint. My first impression of Jessica, I'll be completely honest, was not super good. It wasn't anything about her per se. I mean, she was beautiful and she had a wonderful personality and she had a laugh that was just completely magnetic. But when I saw her, I got this envision of some Birkenstock, hippie, you know, free-loving, free-willing chick. And I remember looking at her and I remember thinking, man, that's a cute girl, but I don't want any part of that. I want nothing to do with that kind of girl.
I see Miles and I'm just like, oh, he's good looking. But he wasn't talking to anybody, he was just kind of sitting there, like wearing some like high collar jacket, thinking he's all cool. And I'm like, he's probably just full of himself, he's probably not very nice, whatever. So I think my feelings kind of changed slowly. You know, I always thought he was good looking, even though he was a little full of himself, kind of in love with himself. The time that they really changed was down in Moab. I think it was the last night. Somehow I tagged along with Miles and this other couple that we were down there with, and somehow we had just all jumped in the car together, the 4 of us, and we're like, let's get some gelato. So we went down to Moab Brewery and kind of like played off that we were doing this double date situation. Me and this other guy have kind of funny, and we were just, you know, just going back and forth, like one-upping each other about stuff. And I remember she was laughing the entire time. My cheeks literally hurt from just smiling and laughing so hard. I just really couldn't remember the last time I laughed that hard. And I was like, man, this guy, like, as full of himself as he is delightful and so funny. I remember thinking, wow, this girl is way, way cool.
So we live out in our old van, travel all across this land, me and you. And we'll end up hand in hand, somewhere down on the sand, just me and you. Just as free, free as we'll ever be. Just as free, free as we'll ever be. travel till the city lights dissolve into a country sky, just me and you. Lay underneath the harvest.
We decided we were going to go down to Peru, just the two of us, and bless what my sweet mother's heart, she came down with us, and we basically backpacked through Peru.
Broke some serious boundaries there. It was awesome. It was kind of a fast forward of, you know, falling in love, really, because we got to know each other so well on that trip. Being together 24 hours a day, you know, there were no secrets. There were no behind, you know, you saw everything, and you were with each other for everything. For, you know, whenever I got cranky and hungry, he saw that. When, you know, all the good and the bad, everything together, and then the adventure of that incredible trip.
That's one of the things I love about Jess, that she'll go to Peru and she'll stay in hostels. She'll mountain bike with me. She'll backpack through me. I mean, we went from we hiked in the Machu Picchu, and we hiked up into the Andes, and we went out to sand dunes and hot dogged out there. I mean, it was everything. I mean, it was just so much fun, and that's the kind of person Jess is, and that's what I love about her, and that's how she looks at life. Peru was just a great way to advance that relationship to just that extra level, and it really deepened our relationship a lot more than had we not gone.
No, we don't have a lot of money. No, we don't have a lot of money. All we need is love. We're free as we'll ever be. Just as free.
One of the first moments that I knew that this was going to be different, that my relationship with Miles was not going to be like any other. We were sitting there talking. He was talking about kind of the things he wanted from life, and the kind of, you know, things that were important to him. And man, this had to have been like within the first month of our relationship, at least, maybe even a few weeks. And I remember listening to him and almost like fighting back the tears, because he was literally saying, I don't want to do this.
I really feel like I found like the rarest gem or the rarest mineral on earth, and that's what I have with Jessica. And she's just so hard to find, and I feel like the Lord makes so few of them, and I feel just so grateful that she's mine and that she's going to be by my side for the rest of my life.
I had this realization that it was as if the Lord had was like, you know, those things you'd been praying for, Jessica, and asking me for, here you go. Like, this is it on a silver platter. And I couldn't believe it, because it was like, I feel like I don't deserve that. This is what I want. It's probably not what I deserve. And it was Miles, and I was like, oh, holy cow, could this be possible? Is this really true that I'm like really getting my prayers answered like this? And I still believe that. I still believe that Miles has been the most blatant answer to a prayer that I've ever had in my life.
When you propose to somebody, it's going to be a story that they're going to tell for the rest of their lives. So anyways, I had all these ideas. I wanted to do a marathon and propose at the end of a marathon, or I wanted to do like a hot air balloon, or I don't know, I wanted to do something kind of unique and special. Well anyways, I ended up deciding that I'm going to go up to Mill Creek Canyon, which is a really, it's a spot that's kind of near and dear to Jess and I's hearts. We spent a lot of time up there over the summer, and I ended up bringing Jessica up there.
He ends up pulling off to the side of the road at Mill Creek Canyon, and he's like, let's go down memory lane here. Let's talk about, you know, some of our favorite memories in this canyon. And I was like, oh, okay. And before I could even like say anything, he's like, you know what? On second thought, I gotta pee. I was like, what?
And she's like, use the bathroom. One, I never go to the bathroom, and two, not in the middle of the canyon. So she's like, well, that's really weird. But I'm like, hey, there's something for you on the laptop.
And I open up the laptop, and it's like this amazing video that he had put together of just him telling me why he loves me and his favorite memories of us together and why he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. And it was like, I cried like a newborn baby.
And I go booking it down the walkway, down the trail. I get to the bridge, light all the candles, and there must have been 30, 40 candles. And I light them all. My mom and my brother were in the Suburban, kind of across the way. They were in the dark and just couldn't see him. But they were going to take photos of it, but there wasn't enough light to actually take photos. I actually set up a video camera. And of course, after I look at it, you can't even hear anything or see anything, but what you can hear was how nervous I was when I was on that bridge. I had forgotten how long I made the video. And so I'm down there, and at that moment when you're proposing to somebody, I mean, seconds seem like hours. And so I was down there, and I was on that bridge, and I started hopping back and forth. I started getting real nervous. You know, I'm like, what's going on? Come on, where's she coming? Come on, come on, come on, come on. You know, and she wasn't coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, is she rethinking this? I think maybe she doesn't want to marry me. You know, or what's going on? So I had all these things in my head, and I was like, what's going on? What's taking her so long? And I remember my mom could see me just like prancing up and down, and she could tell I was really nervous, so she got out of the Suburban. And I yelled, I ran up to her, and I'm like, Mom, like, what's wrong? Is she gonna say no? Like, what's going on? And my mom was like, well, sweetie, how long was the video? And I was like, 10 minutes? And she was like, darling, it's only been 4 minutes.
And still, during this video, it was like 10 minutes long. I still had no idea until the last maybe 10 seconds of the video. He says, you know, darling, I know it's cold outside, but if you don't mind stepping outside and following the candles, there's something I want to do. And like the minute he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, he's doing, like, this is it. Like, oh my gosh, this is it. And so I like freak out. I'd been just crying my eyes out, and so I flip the visor down, and I'm like trying to fix my makeup so that I look okay during this proposal, you know, the most important moment of our lives up to that point.
She gets out of the car and she comes walking down, and she was just bawling.
Then all of a sudden I see Miles standing in the middle of the forest on this cobblestone bridge, these candles all around him, and he's just standing there, and I'm fighting back the tears. It was the most beautiful thing, and I walk up to him, and he hugs me, and
the snow was just starting to lightly fall, and it was just a completely magical moment.
He had brought this little iPod speaker thing, and he like plays this song, which is one of our favorite songs, and he dances with me, and I'm still just crying. It was so beautiful.
And I got down on my knee and asked her to marry me, and it was hands down one of the best moments of my life, and hands down the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave, I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer.
You know, somebody told me once on my mission that the more you proselyte in the rain, the harder your wife is going to be. And I served in Brazil where it rains a lot. So I remember like every single time it rained, I was like, we're going out there and we're proselyting. And I got home from my mission, and you know, it took a while to find Jessica. But I am so grateful that I found her. And but most importantly, I'm grateful for the fight that I fought spiritually and emotionally to get to Jessica, because it makes me appreciate her so much more. It makes me appreciate what I have with her so much more. And I wouldn't change a thing. There were times in there where I was really wondered if I was ever going to find a girl. And then knowing now that after all of that, not only was I going to find a girl, but I was going to find Jessica. I could not have asked for anything more from my Father in heaven. And in fact, what He's given me with Jessica is not only one of His daughters, but one of His absolute finest daughters. And for that I am so grateful. It took me 32 years to find this girl, And I would wait another 32, hands down, if I knew that that was going to be at the end of that journey.
I've died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you.
With Miles, I don't have to give anything up. He is everything. He is, being with him is the life I've always wanted. He is the man that I've truly dreamt of my whole life and prayed for my whole life. And I don't know how. I've been so lucky to literally have everything I've ever wanted in a person. He is a dream come true in every way.
All alone.